Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the third lecture in the series of data structures. In this video, we are going to see abstract data type, usually abbreviated as ADT. So let's see what we mean by abstract data type. Abstract data type refers to a set of data values and associated operations that are specified accurately independent of any particular implementation. So what does this mean? Let us see one example. Suppose we are having a list, say L, and this list L consists of the data items, say 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to 9. Let us assume to store this data, we can use a linear list or a matrix, or even we may use a tree or a graph. All these are different data structures. So to store the list having the values 1, 2, 3 up to 9, we may use any data structure, say linear list, matrix, tree, or graph. Now, see here, I may store the list like this in a linear list or array. I may use a matrix representation to store this list. I may use a tree to store this list, or even I may use a graph to store such kind of a list, right? So essentially, when we place the list on an abstract data type or ADT, the users should not be aware of the structure that they are using. As long as they can insert, they can manipulate, they can retrieve the data from the data structure, it should make no difference how actually the data is being stored. So what users want is they want to store and manipulate the data. So they need not know how the data is being stored, in what kind of data structure, whether it is an array, whether it is a matrix, tree, or graph. So in brief, we may say that we know what a specific data type can do, but how it actually does is hidden. So whenever a user is using any particular abstract data type, the user knows what a specific data type can do, but how it actually does is hidden from the user. So such kind of a data type is known as abstract data type, right? So let us list out important points related to ADT. Using ADT, we can declare the data, we can declare the operations, those are being performed on the data, and data and operations are being encapsulated. So these three are important points to be noted as far as the abstract data type is considered. In abstract data type, there is declaration of data, there is declaration of operations, and encapsulation of data and operations. So let's see the ADT model. So see here, in this particular figure, we are having the ADT model. The colored area, this colored area with an irregular outline over here, this represents the ADT. Inside the ADT, we are having two different aspects of the model. We are having data structures and we are having the functions. Those are operating upon the data structures. There are public functions and private functions. Both these functions are entirely contained in the model and are not within the application program's scope. However, the data structures are available to all the ADT's functions as required, and a function may call the other function to accomplish whatever task is intended. In other words, the data structures and the functions are within one another's scope. Now, let us see what are ADT operations. As I stated, see here, there are various data structures, and for all those data structures, we can have the ADTs. So, data can be entered, accessed, modified, and deleted through the external interface, right? See here, this is the external interface. So the application programmer is writing the application program, and through this interface, it is possible for the programmer to use the ADTs, right? So suppose I'm writing a program, and if I would like to use the linked list, then I'll be having the linked list as the data structure over here, and whatever are the functions or the operations, those are required to manipulate that linked list. For example, I need to add the data into the linked list. I need to delete the node from the linked list. I need to search or sort, whatever are the operations, those I need to perform on the linked list. Those operations are written in the form of these functions. And the application programmer is writing the application program, and through this interface, the operations are being accessed. So programmer is not knowing what is underlying these functions. Simply, the application programmer is having known the syntax, how to use these data structures or how to operate upon these data structures. So application program through proper syntax only calls upon the functions, right? So the public functions are directly available to the application programmer, and the private functions are being called if required through the public functions, right? So the application programmer only calls upon the required functions, and through these functions, the data structures are being manipulated, right? So this is the way how abstract data type model works. So here, the application programmer only knows the operations or the operation names and the parameters, right? So the application programmer knows the operation name and its parameters. Those are available to the application, and they provide the only interface to the ADT. So entire working of the ADT is hidden. So complex details are hidden from the programmer. Programmer can use the abstract data type right through this interface. So throughout this series of data structure, we will be using ADTs for various data structures. We are going to write the ADT for linked list, stack, queue, binary search tree, heaps, graphs, so on and so forth, right? So I hope you must have understood the concept of abstract data type. It is really very important as far as data structures are considered. So that's all for this video. Thank you and happy learning. Please subscribe the channel, like, comment, and share among your friends. Thank you.